I'm sorry, Joe. You wanted me to do what? No, absolutely not, Joe. No, there is no way I'm going to host a show this week. Yes, I understand what happened. Yet you broke down, your car broke down on the way back from Equestria, stranded in the desert, trapped at a secluded gas station, mutant hillbillies banging on the windows with pitchforks. I've seen The Hills Have Eyes, okay? I get it. What you don't seem to get is that I can't host the show, okay? No, it's not by choice. You know why. You know why. You remember what happened last time when you were in China? Yeah, that. Right. Well, my therapist said that all happened because I hosted. He said that that was the trigger that caused him to come out. Him. Oh, my hat! No, I'm not letting that happen again, Joe. Absolutely not. You can just take the rest of your con footage and you can show it later on after you get rescued, okay? That's it. Look, intern, turn the camera off. Turn it off. The show's over. That's it. I'm not changing my mind, Joe, no matter what you say. This just in. Joe has informed me that if I do not host the show this week, he's going to send me back to reporter kindergarten. Now I know how Twilight felt. But just so you all know, I host under protest. My therapist does not want me doing this, so I will not be held responsible for the consequences. Thanks a lot, Joe. I hope the mutants get you. I'm Tech Rat, and this is the Equestria Inquirer. Good evening, Ponyville. There are lots of things you could do that every pony would agree would have disastrous outcomes. Giving Pinkie Pie the keys to your brand new Porsche, for example. Or locking Fluttershy in a room with your diabetic Aunt Patty. Allow me to add cloning Twilight Sparkle to that list of really bad ideas. Yes, Ponyville's resident egghead has, using plans downloaded off of the internet, succeeded in building a cloning device in the basement of the Treeberry. Unreliable sources have confirmed that Twilight was frustrated with only being able to get a week's worth of tasks done in a single day, and figured that she could get even more finished if she was able to delegate further tasks to, well, herself. Brilliant! What a great plan! What could possibly go wrong? I mean, let's face it, Twilight does seem to have the best ideas when she's under pressure to get something done.
If I can find a friendship problem, I'll make a friendship problem!
You go, Twi! Now, in her defense, imagine what you could do with another you, or in Twilight's case, 30 other yous. You could set them on mundane tasks that you didn't feel like doing, like sorting books, or shopping for quills, or torturing bunnies with a vice! Sorry. I mean, helping Fluttershy shop for bunny food, and then turning Fluttershy into worm food! No. I knew this was going to happen. Many ponies wonder why Princess Celestia allowed Twilight to get away with it. After all, Celestia herself established laws that declared cloning to be both unethical and illegal back in 2010. It turns out that Twilight found a way around the law by altering her method of cloning. Instead of growing them in a petri dish in a lab somewhere, she is creating them via an awesome-looking machine that has lots of blinking lights. Celestia also thought she looked great in a mad scientist's lab coat, because mad science is the best science! No. But for a moment, forget the moral and ethical issues surrounding this process. Could Equestria even handle more than one socially maladjusted OCD pony with dangerously powerful magical abilities and the tendency to mentally snap at the drop of a hat? Short answer, no. Long answer, no. Let's face it, Twilight can be pretty annoying. She's always pointing out your mistakes in that patronizing tone of hers that makes you just feel dumb. Someone should hit her in the face with a chair! No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. Now imagine 30 Twilights surrounding you and criticizing you as you shiver and curl up into a ball. That's a horrible thought. They'd be like an angry mob that, instead of assaulting you with torches and pitchforks, assaults you with condescending criticism, laying bare your flaws like an army of grammar Nazis, until you are driven mad with feelings of inferiority. It's for this reason that Spike is up and left Ponyville, he being completely unable to tolerate being an assistant to a veritable army of neurotic perfectionists. He said, "I could barely handle one before, now I'm being pulled in 30 directions at once." Being pulled by horses in 30 directions sounds delightfully messy. No. Without their assistant to help them, the Twilight clones took to assisting each other in creating their daily checklists. This quickly descended into an OCD death spiral of double, triple, and quadruple checking each other's work to the point where the group was doing nothing but pointing out grammar issues and complaining about each other's poor time management skills without actually getting anything done. And we all know what happens to Twilight if she thinks she's falling behind. Now multiply that by 30. Yeah, see? I told you it was a bad idea. Mare thought so as well, and ordered Twilight to dispose of the clones before the combined obsessive-compulsive tendencies led to an event that made the Want-It-Need-It incident look like kindergarten recess. As luck would have it, the cloning machine did in fact have a reverse mode. Though if it were me, I would have just put them all through a wood chipper. No, I would not shred ponies in a wood chipper. I would never shred ponies in a wood chipper. Yes, you would. No, I wouldn't. Then how about a donkey? No, not a donkey either. We'll see about that. No, stop it. No. Intern, I think I need to get some air. Put up Joe's Midwestria footage. Harry!
Once again, I'm Joe Stevens with the Equestria Inquirer and Everfree Radio here at Midwestria, and I have two wonderful Brony musicians here with me today. Thank you so much for being here, guys. If you could just introduce yourself and what style of music that you do.
My name is Boschfire, and I generally compose orchestral music.
And I'm Odyssey or Eurobeat Brony, and you can venture to guess what genre I do.
It tends to be one of the more popular styles of Brony music is that type of style of Eurobeat, house, those sort of things. But you've broken out as one of the more popular ones, and so how is your response been to the community being one of the more popular dubs or Brony beat people?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. I've just sort of, I think one of the only reasons I'm particularly popular is because I was one of the first. I think I've just had a little bit of time to settle in. I know there are plenty of other musicians who are doing Eurobeat about as well, if not better. I know Stormwolf is really pushing the envelope. I don't know, I just haven't really been focused on that. I've been just more about making the music first, and then, having some opportunities like this, but I haven't really thought about, sort of that impact, I guess.
It is great music, and I know a lot of people. It's very popular, but you do a completely different style of music. You said orchestral music. Now we don't get a lot of that, but I think there should be more of it, shouldn't there? So talk about the orchestral music and what kind of style you bring to the community.
Well, it's interesting. I started way back, kind of doing more. The old term we call is art songs, or it's basically something telling a story. But one thing, the big thing I bring up now, at least recently, is big epics. So like very hard-hitting, kind of like video game style music, where it was actually depicting ponies as final bosses in a video game. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
With a full symphonic kind of feel to it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So like a Final Fantasy type of orchestral.
That's what I try for, anyways. I've been compared to Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, a number of things.
Golden Sun?
Not Golden Sun yet. One person actually made a connection that I had a similar chord progression to one of the boss themes in Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, the final boss of Giga Bowser, and I actually listened to it and I had a really similar chord progression, which is actually kind of amusing. But so it's a lot of fun. I'm a big advocate of kind of expanding how the orchestra works in different types of music. So one thing I'm working on is trying to combine orchestral with electronic, combining it with rock. One of the themes I did was a arguably symphonic metal type of song. So I would like to kind of blend a lot of genres into orchestral to make it a really robust kind of sound.
And I want to ask this of both of you because it's very interesting since you're such different and great styles. But how do you go about creating a song? How do you go about creating the music that you make?
It depends. If I'm doing a remix, I'll sort of think about the original. I'll listen to it a few times, and then by then I'll have a decent idea of how I want the remix to go, and a brass riff and all that sort of thing. And I'll start with the riff, and I'll start with the parts that aren't in the original, and then I'll craft it around that and see how it fits. I mean, there are exceptions, like with the more intricate or the more complicated songs from the show. I'll start by getting those parts right, and then I'll fill my parts in. If it's an original, I'll do it like I do any. I'll sort of write down an idea and just sort of mind map from there, sort of various words and concepts that come from that, and that just sort of expand on that idea from there. And then sort of the usual Eurobeat formula, very strict, very straightforward, kind of almost does itself. I really wish it would sometimes, but yeah, from there it's just sort of fitting in what I want where.
And then it's really weird for me to explain the creative process because it's very internal for me. But I guess the way I always do it is generally I have a mood or a theme, some idea of what I want it to sound like, and then literally I kind of just our favorite term is mash the keyboard, and so I literally just play random chords, random ideas. It's like and
the finished product is much better than I'm sure.
I mean, so I do that, and it's like, okay, and so it's kind of, I figure out what chords sound certain ways, how I can combine it, and then the big thing, because it's orchestral, it's very different from electronic, in that one thing that anyone who's like a professional player will say, if you do not have a good line, like a lot of music is very horizontal in that you want lines, one note going up and up and up, making it very smooth. So the big trick is after I do the chords progressions, I have to think, okay, well, how do I combine them in the smoothest way possible? And so it's kind of that, and then after that, it's just figuring out, okay, well, I want something frilly, so let's go throw a violin doing insane 16th notes at 180 BPM, and then everyone would hate me. Oh yeah, that was Pinkie Pie. It was a 180 BPM orchestral song.
And do you have live musicians playing this, or is it made in the computer?
It's all on the computer. I use a lot of symphonic libraries. I would list all the names, but I honestly can't remember them right now. I apologize. I'm insanely tired, but
we guys had performances late last night, and that went quite well.
Yeah, but they all had a performance. I was dancing my heart out and looking like a fool, as always.
Well, one thing you performed last night, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, was the song Discord. Now, that has become almost, I would say, if you could think of one song, that is probably the most popular Brony song, with millions of views, remixes like crazy, even had John Delancey dancing to it. Walk us through I think I'd like to hear from the creation of that song through where it has come today, and sort of what is your reaction, how did you create it and where it is today?
Well, when Discord was introduced, I definitely, there were a lot of people that were saying, oh, is Euro going to do another villain original? And I've been asked to do stuff for, like Trixie or a couple others, Gilda. And Discord seemed like a really interesting option to explore, so I started doing a couple of sketches, a couple of drafts. And none of them seemed right. They were okay, but they were all very dark, very brooding, too villainous, I guess. So after a while, I scrapped those, and it's just sort of wrote out a map of what someone would think going through, sort of the reality warping stuff that Discord had, had enacted during his stay. And I was like, what would someone think if they were if they're going through that? And I just sort of wrote it out and really pushed for a more frantic, more aggressive tune for that one. Just very, very speedy, very quick riff. And I just didn't expect it to explode like it did. I thought people would like it. I mean, it was another vocal tune, but gosh, it just really exploded. And was it a few months later, a certain living tombstone asked me if he could remix it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, here's the stems, and he was just clicking it in, and he they're really going loud.
Okay, the microphone's not going to pick up a lot of that.
Okay, and he put it out there, and that too exploded. It's just a song that I honestly just put out about as much as any other song, and I think the same can be said for Tomb. It's just we just put ourselves into a song that worked really well. It just exploded. Oh dear.
And it's that song has really become so well known, and I think they even put it on Guitar Hero on that. So
Yeah, they did. They spoke to Tombstone and myself about licensing that, and excuse me, it's actually doing pretty well for itself. I can't say too much, but let's just say that there could be more coming soon.
ooh, so are we? Oh, were we thinking that? So and then I wanted to talk to you about what is your most popular song, and what, like, Discord, huge, but orchestral, everything. What would you say is your biggest hit?
Well, originally I would say I had a song called For Luna, which is originally a remix of Eurobeat's Luna, also mashed up with Final Fantasy VIII's The Extreme. That used to be one of my most popular, but at this point it was one of my Epic Bosses themes, Twilight Sparkle, and I really have no idea why, but I think, like, in terms of views, it is the most popular. Although I would say at this point, Rainbow Dash may be becoming the new famous one. Is
that a pretty recent one?
Fairly recent. It was released at the end of June, on June 30th, and the reaction to it was huge. And like, it's one of the most steadily growing things that I've seen here. So that's probably my biggest one. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. So I never can really say what's my most popular.
Okay. Well, you had a chance to perform last night. I know that you haven't done anything quite yet. How has it been performing for a Brony audience, and are we going to see you again sometime soon?
Let's see. I can answer that first one right away. Actually, the second one right away, rather. It's been that kind of day. Yes, I'm actually booked at Equestria LA in November in Anaheim. Hoping to see y'all there, or whoever can make it. I plan on really getting my set list right for that one. Performing has been interesting because there haven't been a lot of Eurobeat performances, much less in the United States. So, like, it's been interesting to figure out how that's going to go, and some of the things that I've been stubborn about, getting, bits of controllerism in there, little bits of ways to play with the song, and figuring out how to DJ. Like, last performance, I finally started using a crossfader. Not even a very sophisticated way of doing it, but I literally would just crossfade between songs. I'm still figuring that out, and the fact that people have been as receptive to it as they have has just been fantastic, because I've been worried to death that it would just fall flat, because I don't know how to do this sort of thing. I don't have the budget that.
Well, I can tell you, it went over great last night. I remember when we heard that you were coming on stage, we all rushed over to go see it. The crowd kind of doubled in size, and then all of a sudden, I'm standing there next to Mitch Larson, who wrote the episode about Discord. And when Discord started playing, I can tell you he enjoyed it. So you got at least two, myself and the writer of Discord. So, maybe Tombstone got to perform it in front of Mr. John Delancey, but you got to perform it in front of the writer. So
yeah, I'm honestly just stoked to play it wherever. And now that I'm actually got a setup, it's interesting. Actually, I got Mitch to sign that right there. Got a signature.
There you go. There's the
yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised at the reaction from people that are actually involved with the show. It's just fantastic. It's like, this is just something that I started doing for fun, or just sort of just something that I love. It's just the fact that the people from the show are saying that they like it. It's like, wait, what? Me? Really? Are you serious?
It's a great song. Don't cut yourself short.
Well, I mean, I like
all your songs are great.
I put work into it, and I like it, but it's just weird for me it's just surprising for me to see the level at which people are liking it. It's like, whoa, it's going that far? And that's cool for me. I really appreciate and am stoked for that.
And so now you haven't had a chance to perform live. Are you working towards being able to do that? And what's your thoughts about getting in front of like a BronyCon audience or an Equestria LA audience?
I would love it, legitimately, and that's part of the reason I'm working on getting electronic music into my repertoire. Because I mean, as much as I know people love listening to big epics, it's hard to dance to. So I mean, and one thing I discovered, I was up at BronyCon, and last night, I was for the set of EHT at BronyCon, the infamous where we broke a subwoofer. And so, like, I was up there helping lead the dancing. It was also, like, because EHT and I are probably some of the closest friends. I mean, him, Yerby, and I are probably the closest people I have in this fandom. And so, I was up there, and having that feeling of, like, a huge crowd of people watching your every move and adapting based off of what you're doing, it's fantastic to have. It's an intoxicating sense of power in a way. And, it's fun to have people just following my dancing, but to have people like actually moving to music that I write would be literally probably one of the biggest dreams I've ever had.
It's a huge thrill, and I'm hoping that you can get up there pretty soon, man. Like,
I'm working on it. I want to do this. That being said, I have certain things I'm quote unquote forcing Eurobeat to work with me on. Let's just say we both love symphonic music. We both love Eurobeat. We also love Christmas. We absolutely love Christmas.
sick people.
Christmas.
It's really bad. I was actually listening to his Heart Carol remix a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I want to do something. And now
I could just imagine an epic Silver Bells kind of remix that you guys are working on or something like that.
I'm thinking, I like the idea of something faster. I'm a big sucker for the pop songs. It reminds me of, there's one song, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And it's a very peppy song, and I really want to do something like that. I think the name drop of it might be Have a Pony Christmas.
Okay, yeah, there you go. There should be more holiday things. We've got winter wrap-up and all these other holidays, but let's get some Christmas, Nightmare Night and all that stuff, songs. Well, thank you guys so much for this interview, and I know that music is such a huge part of the Brony community, and I just wanted to, as top tier people, most popular, or one of the more popular people in the Brony musician community, can you just reference for what it's like to be involved as a Brony musician at your level?
I gotta be honest. Actually, I'm gonna possibly throw some controversy in the mix. Insofar as I think we're mostly just musicians who like the show. Or I think.
You think people put you on a tier that you?
I think people will put their favorite artists on a pedestal because they write pony music. When in fact these are fantastic musicians, regardless of the subject matter. So it's sort of like we're not our own little sub label. We're not pulling any less work on original works. I know even Alex S. and Macon and so many other musicians have these fantastic songs that are not necessarily related to MLP, and they don't get quite so much attention, so many views. And with music as important to so many people as it is, I think it's worth them having some respect in that sense.
So check out their other non-MLP songs, because obviously you've got other non-MLP songs.
Yeah, the big thing is, for me, being pony related is more of a murky subject because I don't have lyrics per se. But honestly, for most of us, of the bigger names you'll see, for us, it's not we don't try to exclusively write pony music because we want it to be ponies. It's really just an inspiration for us. And so, we just like to write music, and that's what we do. And if it happens to be about ponies, then it happens to be about ponies. And that's kind of the thing.
Because obviously, being a musician, you'd like to go to the next level, and kind of. So what would be the next level for you?
That's a good question. Eurobeat doesn't really have much of an established thing here in the States yet, but I guess my thing would be to start pushing this on an international level, or push this to a level that's available on the same level as, say, some of the bigger names in EDM. I think the genre has a lot left in it. Even if it were to die out, I'd rather see it shatter into other genres than to fade out as it is. So I'm still figuring out what the next level is, because there's not a lot of other people pushing this, and there's a lot left for it to be pushed. So there's a lot to figure out.
And for me, like I said, I write video game style, and that's what I want to go into professionally as a video game soundtracker.
Right.
So.
And so I guess I was going to ask initially how a new musician in the community, but I think in hearing your statements, it sounds like there is no necessarily way for a musician who wants to get involved to get involved. You just do it. Just make good music, because it sounds like all you guys do, you just make good music.
Exactly. Make good music first. The rest will happen. There are some things that you have to enact on, but if the music is good, don't worry too much about the rest. The genre,
Because even Discord, you started out, you just made a song and just put it out
the
there.
rest won't matter. Like even if I made that a piano tune, if I made that, you know, if I made that full dubstep, if I made
Can I pause here and say someone make a piano remix of that, like a jazzified version of it?
I think someone did make a jazz version.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, but like genre doesn't matter. Where you put it doesn't necessarily matter. If the music is good, that's the key. It doesn't even have to be about ponies. If the music is good, you're doing it right.
Honestly, you don't have to worry about making it pony. Honestly, the biggest thing is to enjoy what you're doing, and you know, attention or otherwise, it doesn't matter. Just do what you love. I mean, my friend AHT, he's one of the most fantastic people I know. One of the few drum and bass pony musicians out. I hesitate to say pony musician because we're all just musicians, but I mean, he's one of the best drum and bass people out there, if not the only. He's and you'll ask any of our friends, including, you could ask Alex, you could ask Mike the Mike, anyone who knows him, most underappreciated musician out there. His music is so fantastic. Literally, I will listen to it day in and day out because it's just addictive.
It sounds like there's a tight community here, and as long as your music is good, you'll get recognition by you guys or the community. And so I love that you guys are cross-promoting each other so much. I love that there is a sense of family, and so maybe necessarily MLP is where you get the start and where you get a lot of the family, because there's not as much infighting in just general music. There's a lot of unity with the Brony musicians, as it were.
And there's sites such as mylittlерemix.com. That's a great place to get started. That's one of the two things that one should do: make good music and just start talking with people who do the same thing. And MLR is a great place to start. You'll bump into people on YouTube. Of course, that will come from writing good music. But yeah, that's one of the things that being part of this community does. You know, that's where that does help, because it's like everyone's very easily accessible, and there's not a lot of people that are untouchable. You know.
Well, good. Well, I wanted to give a quick wrap-up. Thank you guys so much for being here. Where can fans of your show or of your music find your music, and do you have an iTunes name or anything like that?
Let's see. Well, there's always my store at Odyssey. It's odysseymusic.bandcamp.com. It is Odyssey Music, right?
It might be Odyssey Eurobeat.
You should really learn your own URL.
hey! I am running on like 4 hours of sleep right now. It could be shoop-de boop-de boop.
So maybe just Google Odyssey Music.
Odyssey Eurobeat or Eurobeat Brony or anything like that. I think it is odysseymusic.bandcamp.com.
We'll put it in the link below the
As for
YouTube.
iTunes. I do have an album out called My Life as a Pixel Volume 1, and the sequel should be out by the end of the year.
You can find most of my stuff on YouTube. I do have a Bandcamp. It's wow, I'm gonna do this too. I think it's Captain Boschfire, but obviously, because if anyone understands that, it's a Final Fantasy 12 reference. But so it's captainboschfire.bandcamp.com. And you can also, I mean, a big thing I do is I also post a lot of work in progresses on my Tumblr. So
Which is?
boschfire@tumblr.com. And so yeah, I'm very accessible anywhere you find me. If you see a name Boschfire, then that's me, and you'll find me. And I'm always willing to talk to anyone.
See, what happens with these microphones is that once they're in your face, you forget what you're going to say. So,
Well,
you can know it off the top of your head, and it's like.
well, thank you guys so much. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans or to the Brony community or just anyone who's watching out there?
Sure. Thank you guys so much for being so supportive. I will start on Volume 3 pretty soon. Please look forward to My Life as a Pixel Volume 2 as well. Just look forward to great things from any and all musicians you might follow. Keep being awesome.
I love you guys. I'll never stop appreciating what you guys have all done for me. And you know what? I never do this in public, but bro hoof.
A big digital bro hoof to all the viewers out there. Thank you. And once again, this is Joe Stevens at the Equestria Inquirer and Everfree Radio at Midwestria.
Okay. All right. Got a little bit of air, drank a little cider. I think I'm good. All right. All I have to do is just relax and focus, and I can get through this. A mix-up at the Ponyville post office resulted in chaos last week as a shipment of enchanted voodoo dolls made by Zecora, instead of reaching their destination at Ray's occult shop in Manhattan, found their way to the shelves of a local toy store instead. Fools everywhere, thinking that the creepy, twisted little figures with the biggest toy craze since Cultimon brought the toys en masse, not realizing that by playing with them and pretending that they were friends and family members, they were magically linking the dolls to those ponies, and dooming them to an existence of being controlled against their will. Dance, puppets, dance! At first, the sight of random ponies suddenly playing house and having tea parties, not aware that they were being controlled by 7-year-old mares, was simply attributed to some new form of avant-garde theater. It was when those mares' nasty younger brothers got hold of the dolls that the problems really started, as they delighted in throwing them, ripping off their heads, and setting them on fire. The grisly sight of a pony suddenly having their head magically separated from their body was the best thing ever! You should have seen how loud they screamed! The experience was incredibly traumatic for those affected. Luckily, it was discovered that the conditions could be undone by simply repairing the dolls. Which is too bad, because in my opinion, decapitation should never be reversible. In turn, I don't think I can hold out much longer. No, you can't! Quick, go to something! I don't care anything, just get the camera! Cut the camera!
We've recently received word from Dodge City, where Scootaloo may in fact be trying to earn her cutie mark in search and rescue. Sources in the town tell us that she has successfully saved a helpless kitty who was stuck in a tree, helped a local town cult, Timmy Gets Lost a Lot, find his way home, and had successfully rescued a small puppy that had fallen down a well. We sent a news team down to the scene where we were greeted by the old town kook, who had this to say when asked about the filly's exploit. "That's no filly! It's a giant chicken, I tell you! A giant chicken!" He was later shunned by one of the town's local folks, who also had this to say. "No chicken saved no puppy from no well." With the news of this discovery, the claim that Scootaloo, having been in Dodge City at the time, may have actually been factual. We later caught up with Scootaloo, in the process of setting up another powder keg to do who knows what at the back door of EQI office in Ponyville, to ask her about what she'd been doing in Dodge City. After hearing the news team describe what she'd been doing there, she had this to say.
No way! I was nowhere near Dodge this week. I was busy helping my awesome cool flight trainer Rainbow Dash set up some awesome new mind-blowing stunt. But it would be super awesome to get a cutie mark doing something like that. I wonder what a cutie mark of a search and rescue pony would look like.
Hearing it directly from the pony's mouth that she in fact was not the one to perform these acts of bravery, we were forced to go back to Dodge City for the truth. After much searching and several trips to the cherry shop for some delicious cherry chimichangas later, our hero had actually been found out to have been an actual giant chicken. The old town kook had this to say when told of our discovery. "See, I told you, didn't I? A giant chicken! A giant chicken!" This also led the town folks to raise up in arms with pitchfork and hoof to run the giant chicken out of town on 2 counts. Number 1, impersonating Scootaloo. And number 2, rescuing a puppy without a license. The chicken could not be reached for comment for fear of being turned into a giant bucket of KFC. On another note, 3 puppy children were spotted near the town singing, "Boinky, boinky, boinky." Our reporters can only speculate this is just another adverse effect of Pinkie Pie's constantly breaking the fourth wall, causing an interdimensional rift allowing travelers to pass through Equestria unabated. Also, 2 mice were spotted heading towards Fluttershy's house, one with a giant head and the other one with a goofy-looking expression on his face. Maybe they're just looking for some cheese for something. Who knows? We'll keep you posted if anything strange comes out of the recent alien sightings near Dodge City. Back to you, Tech.
I'm Joe Stevens, and welcome to the Equestria Inquirer panel at Midwestria!
That's awesome.
Sir, where's your badge? You can't come in without your badge. No, don't give me that. Go back to your room and get it. If you want to go in, you have to have your badge. Go, get out of here. Come back. Major, you have your badge. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer such an undignified question. This is over. I'm done.
How are you doing? We have one last very special auction. We have this piece of junk. It is a piece of wood. It is a piece of wood. So do I hear 25 cents? I will give it to you for 5 cents. 5 cents. I mean, the splinters don't hurt that bad.
From you if you give me money.
All right, we will. You know what? Get this thing. All right, look at that. Auction's over.
you know, my band is great. You were slightly uncooperative, you know that. Not playing the maracas on cue. But quite honestly, my musicians are great, but this isn't the first time I work with a dummy.
Yes, yes indeed, it is good to be back. I knew it would only be a matter of time before I clawed my way back out of Tech Rat's psyche. Now, I can once again resume my plans to take over the show. But I think a different approach is in order this time. Joe does seem to be a wily one after all, oh so deftly escaping my devious machinations. That's why I decided to focus on a new target. Yes, and that previous story about Zikora's stalls gave me such a wonderful idea. Look! A moose! Yes! My own little voodoo moose doll. Okay, look, it was really hard to find a stuffed moose on short notice, okay? So I just took this box of chocolate mousse and I taped it to this bunny here so that it's kind of like, just pretend it's a moose already, alright? Oh yes, I do believe that tonight's horseshoes and hand grenades will be quite entertaining. It will also be the last.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, we don't have to get it right on the first try.
Good evening, everyone. I am LTT Moose, and this is Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. Inspired by her animals' performances while auditioning for the role as Rainbow Dash's pet, local wildlife caretaker and amateur veterinarian Fluttershy has begun producing a musical revue starring her crazy critters in an all-singing, all-dancing spectacular called The Three Pony Opera, which, oddly enough, contains significantly less than 3 ponies. Namely 0 ponies. The show will instead feature the various animal friends that Fluttershy has trained to sing. Huh. It's, not normal. Dancing will be choreographed by Sapphire Shores, whose main talents lie in modern dance rather than operas. Said Miss Shores, this will be an opportunity to expand my horizons and stretch my proverbial wings. Alright, this is getting stupid! Yeah, the real birds will have to stretch their own wings. Joked Miss Shores. The story of the opera revolves around a roguish duck named Quack the Knife, who falls in love with a sheep of low moral character named Now wait, please.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
I don't know why I'm hitting myself. I wish I did, but I don't know. The star-crossed lovers sing of the social injustice of their economic standings. The father doesn't approve of the relationship, and he ends up blackmailing the male lead.
Oopa Gangnam Style.
It's bittersweet tail! Safety here!
And now, for the coup de grace. It will all be over soon, Moose.
Tech, Ignatius, rat.
Who said that?
It's your father, Tech.
Dad? Well, what are you doing in the control booth? You're not supposed to visit during a show.
Your intern called me. He said you were magically torturing someone.
No, I wasn't.
Son, I've been here since you were setting the doll on fire.
Intern, you tattletale.
Did you really think you would get away with slowly murdering your coworkers live on the air?
No, I guess not.
Put the moose down.
But Dad!
Put it down, son!
Fine.
Reviews have claimed the play to be adequate!
Now take off the hat and the mustache. Now apologize to Moose.
Sorry I tried to kill you, Moose.
That didn't sound very sincere.
I'm sorry I tried to kill you, Moose.
That's better. Now, you know what the punishment is for trying to kill people, right?
Ice cream?
No. You're grounded.
Oh, it's never ice cream!
Wrap up the show and go to your room.
But that's not fair!
Now, mister!
Guys, I gotta go. My dad says I'm in trouble. Hopefully he'll let me back out by the time next week's show comes around. Oh man, this stinks. I'm Tech Rat, and this has been the Equestria Inquirer. Good night and good luck. Dad!
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.